matter how the devil try trick me. Unto you my soul I will give. Father, I know this time is coming. I can see the high tide raise. Without you there is no other. Could it be that we decide? No weapon that form against us shall not prevail. No man that rise against us, that war they shall never win. Because I will conquer. Oh, I will conquer. Yes, I will conquer. Conquer them. Come on, let's conquer. Oh, I will conquer. Rise up and conquer. Conquer them. I am a man. I am a champion. I am a warrior. So who are you to tell me that I cannot make? Who are you to tell me that I am not the greatest thing that God ever created?
Stay up to date with all that's happening with the new national party, NNP. Send us a message via text or WhatsApp on 405-8683 with your name, email, and constituency. Stay in the know with NNP. Get updated.
You're listening to Hard Talk Grenada via www.hardtalkgrenada.com.
Good morning, Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. You're listening to Hard Talk Grenada. A very special good morning to those of you joining us on the various radio stations, 97.5 CitysoundFM, 89.5 CRFM, 91.9 and 91.5 RealFM Radio, 92.9 Cicero Radio broadcasting from Hillsborough, Carriacou, and of course, 94.9 We Noise Radio out there in Brooklyn, New York. A very special good morning to those of you joining us on the various radio stations. Live streams. Whether it's on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube, you're on Instagram, a very special good morning to you. It is a pleasure being here with you on this Thursday morning. And with me in studio, I have none other than my co-host, Mr. Roland Bola. Good morning, Mr. Bola.
Good morning to you, Ms. Duncan, and welcome back to the job. You've been missing in action for a couple of days.
I have.
And I want to say a very, very, very pleasant and happy good morning to all our listeners, those who have phoned in wondering what went wrong, if we went off the planet, what have you. No, we are still here. I was always here every day. Ms. Duncan was the one that was not able to be here. Somebody phoned me this morning and said, boy, I get my 4%. I said, well, lucky you. So I understand Ms. Duncan got her 4%
yes,
too.
I get my 4% too.
Yeah, but the gentleman who phoned me said he find his song more like 9%. Get more than others. Anyway, that's how people nickname one of the serious kind of colds we have going around. What did the ministry call it?
Acute respiratory infection. And it really didn't feel like a flu, Mr. Bola. You know, usually when you get the flu, you get a lot of body aches, or some people get a lot of body aches and pain and so on. It was more of it felt more like a sinus infection, honestly.
Okay.
You know, a lot of congestion, a cough, a lot of runny nose, you know.
But all of that happens when you catch a cold, the flu.
Yeah,
runny
but
nose and cough.
It didn't come with all of the other things.
Such as, I don't know.
Such as body pain and, you know, them kind of
I haven't had a flu for a very long time now.
Aren't you lucky?
So I'm not sure.
Aren't you lucky? I very rarely get the flu, Mr. Bola, but when I do, it's bad.
Well, sad to hear, but glad to have you back, and of course,
I'm glad to be back.
We look forward to continue to share information. And as I'm at it, I just want to. There's so many people that I want to hear about in the last couple of days. DC Ranks, yes, yeah, well, you know, he's a long-time Calypsonian. You know, I don't know if he still sings. He lives somewhere in the Telescope area. He listens every day to this program, and I just wanted to shout him out and let him know that we'll keep you in mind. I know I have to give you a little shout every now and again. DC has a song that Mr. Donald on RealFM use. Every Thursday morning he has an agricultural program where they speak agriculture. So a song that DC Ranks had is the theme song. Everybody.
You singing it?
I was going to sing it, but the way you look at me there, it means that you don't want me to. So this year I won't sing your song for her to hear. But I know I know what DC says, that everybody give up agriculture and they run into computer.
Oh, really?
That's all people interested in. He said, but don't worry, my brother. Just now all got to eat up them computers. Yeah, well, that in essence he's saying that we need more young people, more minds, more hands into agriculture. Yes, good morning to you, Mr. DC Ranks. And I also want to shout out another brethren. I met him on Sunday morning. It's a Rastafarian brethren of mine out in Belmont, not Belmont St. George's, but Belmont St. Patrick's when you're heading up the Hermitage side. He's a culture man, he into the land and doing his veggies and what have you, So I just want to hail your brethren. You did promise that one of these days you're going to call in on the program to discuss some issues. And as I said to you, then feel free anytime you're ready. And there's so many other people that we need to hail, but we don't want to use the entire program just saying hello to people. So I just want to say good morning again to one and all, and we are happy to be back on air. It's our first day for the week, and so we are happy that we can do that. So you take care, and let's get it going, Ms. Duncan.
Absolutely. And I'm happy. I'm glad to know that we were missed. I did get a lot of phone calls too asking, what's wrong? What, y'all not having program today and so on. But I'm glad that we were missed, and we missed you guys too. But some things are unavoidable. The one thing that I have to use for this, the most important thing actually that I have to use for this line of work was taken away from me by the flu. I had no voice for the last 2 days. So even if I, was a little stuffy and had a little cough and so on, you could manage with that. But I had no voice. What I could do?
Make sign. That's what is called sign language.
Well, Mr. Ball, I'm happy to be back because there's so much happening. There is so much that we need to continue talking about. We need to continue encouraging people to get vaccinated. We need to continue talking about the importance of vaccination. We need to continue reminding people about the current standing in our neighboring countries. I know yesterday or the day before, St. Kitts and Nevis began canceling or postponing events because an individual with no travel history tested positive for COVID-19, which is one of the most troubling things that can happen in a country in this current time. Having an individual who just shows up with COVID, no recent travel history or anything like that, or none that they know of, or no relation to anyone that has had a recent travel history. So I guess the investigation must continue to find out what is going on in that aspect. But we need to look closely even at our neighboring island of Trinidad and Tobago and what's happening there with our brothers and sisters there, and they're struggling. Yesterday they had, I think, 24 deaths. I don't know what the figures are going to be like today.
Well, of course, we can look up to see where they are now in terms of numbers of positive cases plus death, and it has to, if it has not yet done so, create some level of concern to our people here in Grenada, into our minds. If we are updated and we are listening to the news and understanding what is happening there, and there are many Grenadians or people of Grenadian descent or with Grenadian connections or whatever way we want to put it, that resides in Trinidad, and of course I do believe that many of them are in contact with their friends and relatives here in Grenada, and so they can also give information and give them the news very reliably so too of what is happening. But it's very troubling because, especially the St. Kitts scenario where that person has had, based on what the authorities know, any recent travel history. So they did not leave St. Kitts to go into any neighboring island or out of the region.
Right.
And they have to do a thorough now check, what they call the contact tracing, to find out in the last 10 to 14 days all of the people that individual came into contact with, even the slightest of contact. and then go on to test all of these people to verify if any one of them
Right.
may be positive as well, and then to know who they in turn was in contact with. So when we speak here, and when the ministry speaks, and when we talk about at every possible level, we need to continue to follow the protocol and to adhere to what is put in place for us to follow. And at the same time, we have people saying, well, what are we worrying about? What are you talking about wearing masks and staying away from crowd and from the public? There ain't no COVID in Grenada, of course.
Right.
None that we know of. None that has been medically tested. No one so far in Grenada or at this time in Grenada who have been tested have shown up to be positive. But as we oftentimes see, and we'd have to repeat, even at the avoidance of being repetitious, that we have very porous borders.
Yeah.
We have neighboring islands that are infested with people that has the COVID.
Yeah.
What if, and I mean the police themselves has reported up to recently that they have found individuals in our state that did not come into the country through the normal, legal, authorized ports of entry.
Yeah.
They did not come on a vessel that arrived at the port in St. George's. They weren't on a yacht that was docked here and properly recorded. They didn't come on an aircraft through the airport. So they had to come in one of our little bays or inlets with a little fishing vessel or something, by whatever means. But they did not come through the authorized ports of entries where they would have been checked, done a PCR test, been quarantined for how many days that was necessary to verify their status as it relates to COVID-19. What does that say to us as a people? Is that we may and can get contaminated, get into contact with an individual who had slipped through the crack, who was coming here illegally, did not declare themselves upon arrival, was not checked by the authorities, the health authorities in that case. No one can verify what the status as it relates to COVID is. And just like that, 1, 2, or 3 people in a particular village, in a particular community, interact with that person, catch the virus, not themselves knowing that they have it, and they continue to live as normal and usual. Because, of course, we don't have any positive case in Grenada. What you worrying about?
Yeah.
You know, which is the mindset that a lot of our people have. And in less or no time, you find someone, you start doing the contact tracing and recognize that hundreds of people within a certain locality, a certain community, have contracted the virus. But what is worse is that Grenada is such a small place that people do not remain in one community forever.
At
they
any
move.
given day. At
any given day, any given time. They have to go to work. They have some businesses doing St. George's. They need to visit the doctor in Sotez. They go to the dentist in Grenville. They have to go to the pharmacy, to the supermarket, wherever their responsibilities and duties on a daily basis may take them, and several others. So we can see from the scenario that I'm trying to paint here, the picture that I'm trying to put before us, it doesn't take much, it doesn't take long, it is not a difficult thing.
No, it's not.
For the disease to spread. So I hear sometimes people say, well, you know, if we want to safeguard ourselves, nobody in Grenada have it at this time. So all the government need to do is lock down the airport and don't let anyone come in. Of course, the government can do that. Lock it down. But it means a lot of people will be out of employment. It means that we'll be out of a lot of supplies. Many things that has been coming in through the airport will no longer be able to come in. Much of the agricultural produce and the fishermen's stock will not be able to get out because the airport is closed. Yes? And then you can see the troubling economic repercussions that we would have as a result of that. But even if the government was to take that decision and decide, for the safety and security of our people, let's have it closed for a week, for 2 weeks, for a month, whatever the case may be. And someone remarked recently, just close it down and we can live peacefully in Grenada. We could have our own carnival with ourselves only because none of us have it. Would that stop a Vincentian from taking a small boat and go to Carriacou, and then another one from Carriacou, Petit Martinique, any one of the small islands, Union Island, Canawan, wherever they want to be, and to eventually end up in Grenada? I am not happy about it, but it happens.
Yeah.
And that doesn't say that our security forces, the police and the Coast Guard and so, that they're not working, that they're not active. It is almost impossible. Look at the United States. Thousands of times larger in land mass than Grenada.
Yes.
Hundreds of times more people. 370 million thereabout people living in the United States. Grenada has just about 100,000. So hundreds of times much more populated. In terms of resources, billions, trillions of dollars, they have more than. Yeah. But of course, they have a border between Mexico and the U.S. That constantly people, Mexicans and other people going through Mexico, would cross and get into Arizona and some of those other places. They have patrol police, they have border police, they have all kind of people, CIA, FBI, all sorts of arms of security. But people are still able to penetrate the border and get into the United States, illegally so, without being checked by the relevant authorities. And we sometimes want to compare and say, but we could do better. Of course we can do better. We have to do better. We need to do better. We're striving to do better. On every level in Grenada, that must happen.
Yeah.
But it is very difficult for the police and the numbers that we have to be everywhere, every time. You want them to protect the beach, but you or your children will not behave because every minute they have to run into the village. They have to break up a fight somewhere. They have to go into the schools because as parents, we are not able or not willing sometimes to do what is necessary to keep the peace, to train our children properly, and to lessen the burden upon the police so they can pay attention to other things of importance. Everything we neglect to do, we think the police must be the ones to take up the slack. The government must be the ones to put things in place. So if we want the government to be in so many, to do things and to put people in so many places, how comes we still making quarrel for increased pay?
And it's quite
and
unfortunate.
all kind of things like that.
And it's quite unfortunate that on one side of our mouth, we expect the police to do so much things for us in terms of protecting our safety and well-being. But on the other side of the same mouth, we are saying that we are generalizing them and indicating that they are incompetent at their jobs and encouraging people to be defiant when it comes to obeying the laws and the regulations of the lands. And it's quite unfortunate that is the case, because we are seeing an increased amount of defiance as it relates to young people when it comes to, and not just young people, but when it comes to people having respect for men and women in uniform. We've seen an increased amount of defiance, as well as we've seen a lot of disrespect and defiance when it comes to our legislators and the people in the administration or in government that are putting the laws and so on in place for us to be safe, and the protocols in place for us to be safe. We see a lot of defiance in that area. So I'm trying to figure out and to understand if we as a people ourselves even understand what we really want. Are we just saying things that we hear? Are we just regurgitating things? Or do we really know as a people what we want? Do we want to be safe? And if the answer to that is yes, then are we willing to make the sacrifices that are required for us to be safe? And that is an important question, because if you are willing to do something, it means that you must be willing to make the sacrifices necessary to make it a possibility. And we have to start having mature conversations with ourselves first, not with other people, with ourselves first. Mature conversations with ourselves first to accept and identify where we are faltering and where we are willing to grow in order to become better people. And then we know that we are able to contribute positively to society. And I think that's the bigger picture. And that's what we need to take into consideration. So I want to just put into perspective, Mr. Bola, some of the the Caribbean countries that we have around us. Thankfully, we're at zero. We're at zero. We hope to remain at zero for as long as we can. But other countries around us in the region are starting to see increased cases. Antigua and Barbuda yesterday recorded 1 new case. Today, already, they have recorded 3 new cases of COVID-19. And that is a matter of concern because here you had an island who was doing fairly well. And beginning to see a lot of leniency in their rules and regulations. We have some countries like St. Lucia yesterday who recorded 35 new cases, and I know we're focusing a lot on Trinidad and Tobago because right now they seem to be in a very precarious situation, but other countries around us seem to be having similar issues. Barbados just yesterday recorded 3 new cases once again. And I mean, I can continue going on and on and on.
What is the situation with St. Vincent? We haven't had an update on them.
I have not seen. I mean, I could simply just go here and pull it up. Let me just make a quick check of St. Vincent because I know there's a lot happening in St. Vincent.
Yes, outside of COVID.
Outside of COVID.
They have all of the issues. Well, of course, no eruptions in the most recent time with the volcano, but the damage it has done before in terms of cleaning up and recouping and recovering from it, it will take them a while to do. So.
It will. Let me see here. 5 new cases today.
For St. Vincent.
For St. Vincent today.
Yes, sure.
And that is what was updated. They usually say 24 hours. So between yesterday and today, it would be 5 new cases. And this is difficult for them to have to deal with, especially now in a time where they're dealing with everything else that's going on with their country. But most importantly, I think we need to take a look at Trinidad and Tobago because it's just a little bit too close for comfort, and their situation continues to worsen to a point where I saw a video yesterday and I really needed to take maybe next week to get a copy of that video because I like showing the people what we're speaking about and make sure that I upload it next time so we can look at it. And an issue where we have persons in hospitals on floors. We are at that stage now in Trinidad where this is now a real possibility, where not even a possibility, it's a reality. They have a few mobile clinics or field hospitals that they have erected, but will that be enough for the growing numbers? They have an approximate 414 cases per day. That's an approximation of the amount of cases they have per day. They have an approximate 20 people dying per day in Trinidad and Tobago, and this is a place where our family and friends reside, and we are here sitting with this false sense of security that we are covered, that we feel that we government have it under lock so we could just do what we want to do and we can become defiant, and we are not opening our eyes to look at the bigger picture to understand why we are in the place that we are in. What sacrifices have a lot of us made, A lot of people have made sacrifices to ensure that we remain safe. The business community, they have been continuously from the beginning till this very moment, been making amazing sacrifices when it comes to COVID-19. I know how difficult it must be for a lot of the small business owners, bars and so on, when they have to close at 9:30, 10 o'clock just to accommodate the curfew. That is difficult, where they have to make difficult business decisions because they are making less revenue, less people are coming in, most of them depended on tourism. There's not a lot of tourists coming in, so therefore there's not a lot of business. They have to make tough decisions on which staff do I keep, which staff do I let go. How do I maintain my staff? How do I go to my people and say, "Ollie, look, we had to close, for a couple of weeks because we don't have the money to continue running." I mean, these are all difficult decisions that a lot of people have made, and a lot more than we can even imagine. Sometimes as civilians we feel that, well, me it's just my mask. If I don't want to wear my mask, that ain't gonna change anything. It changes a lot. It makes a big difference, and I don't think that we are being mature enough to understand that. I can understand people not wanting to get vaccinated, Mr. Bola. They want it to be their own choice. They want it to be their right. They want to do it in the right time. They want to do it when they feel comfortable. Okay, all well and good. But what are we doing in the meantime to keep the people around us safe? What are we following the protocols? Are we even advocating for the protocols to be followed? If you're anti-vax, okay, fine. You don't want to take the vaccine. But are you doing what is necessary to ensure that you and your household and the people that you interact with, because it is your responsibility, when you decide that you have a right and you don't want to get vaccinated, it is still your responsibility to ensure that the people you interact with don't get COVID from you, or that you don't spread it to the wider population or the people who are still in the process of making up their minds. It's still your responsibility. So there's a lot of things we need to start thinking about and start having open, honest, mature discussions surrounding these things. I mean, it pains me to go on social media and see some of the ridiculous, stupid comments as it relates to protocols and vaccination and government, and we just behaving like a bunch of children, just throwing tantrums. Give me this, give me that, I want this, I want that, and we're not willing to say, I am willing to do this and I am willing to do that, so that we can achieve or we can accomplish this together, because it's an accomplishment that we make as a country. It's not just an individual single thing. It's an accomplishment we make as a country. So we have to know, okay, this is what I am willing to sacrifice and what I am willing to give to ensure that we meet this common goal. It's time, Mr. Bull. It's time we start forcing people to grow up.
Well, I don't know if we can force them, but I will agree with you that it's time that most of us grow up from, that childish kind of approach. This is serious matter, has always been a serious matter, and it has always been noted and said by the authorities that this is something that we must all fight together. We are in this thing together, irrespective of your religious orientation, your political beliefs, whether you vote or you don't vote, whether you're a Muslim or a Christian. It doesn't matter, because COVID-19 is not selective in who it attacks.
Right.
Whoever is within its path, whoever is in its way, whether you're a Negro or an Indian, whether you're black or you're white, you're Catholic or a Seventh-day Adventist, Pentecostal or Muslim, and you are in its path, it will, whether you're employed or unemployed, it doesn't matter, male or female, a senior and advanced in age or teenager. What COVID wants is an opportunity to attack, and it will once an opportunity is given. So we all must see it as our responsibility to do what we can, what is necessary, to look and listen and understand why protocols are being put in place and what they are meant to do. They are meant to safeguard all of us. It is not about government or ministry wanting to make life difficult for you. It is not about wanting to affect the business community. In fact, it's better for the government. The government performs better. The economy does better when there are greater freedoms, when all businesses can open up to whatever time it is that they want to open up to at night, and they have that facility, and people can go out there and shop and, have a fete and, do all the things that we used to do at one time.
Yes.
Because in so doing, the economy keeps moving, more goods and would have to come in, more revenue on the port and all the other taxes and business fees, and so if the business are operating, government can get, and they will be able to do better for the public servants. But all of those things have been curtailed or limited because of COVID-19. So we sometimes must get beyond that myopic view of, the government just want to control people's life, and we have the constitutional rights to do or not to do. Sure, you do have that, but you have to make sensible, fact-based decision.
Yeah.
Some people talk about COVID is a hoax and it don't exist. And where are we living?
Yeah.
Look at what's happening right here in the Caribbean, right around us. Trinidad, Jamaica, Barbados, St. Lucia. We are hearing the news. We are seeing it. I don't know, and some people credit it to the success that we have had as a country. The authorities was able to put measures in place very early, very timely, to avert a lot of the more serious cases that we are seeing in some of the other islands. And maybe that has given us as a people, or some of us, a false sense, a false hope, making us believe that we are more secure than anyone else. We are not.
Yeah.
We are not more secured.
We're in a good place.
We are in a good place, and we are doing some of the things that is necessary to keep us safe. But if all of us do more of what is necessary for safety from COVID-19, we will be in a much stronger and better place. It's not a case where some people must do it and others must not.
But Mr. Bola, I don't think we need to do more, I think if everybody does exactly what's expected of them, if every individual in Grenada does exactly what is expected of them in this fight, and not just in Grenada, but in the world at large, if everyone does exactly what's expected of them, we would have beat this thing so long ago. Because we have seen that the protocols that we are using, they work. They work if everyone follow them. They work if everyone adhere to them. They work if we do exactly what we're supposed to do as a people. But that is where we have failed, because we have let ourselves believe that our right to do what we want to do supersedes the general right of everyone else.
Yep, and the right to be safe. And if you check most places around the world where there have been serious contraction of the virus and second wave and third wave in some instances, what precedes that is the dropping of the ball, as they call it, where people refuse to follow what is necessary for them to follow, where they went back to beach parties and house parties and restaurants operating with no regulations and all. Just look at what would have caused a renewal, a rebounce, the hesitancy of people to wear masks and to stay away from mass gathering and all those things, because it is my constitutional right so to do, and government cannot tell me what to do, and we're not living in a police state. We agree with all of those things. But what exists presently, the possibility of the annihilation of our people because of COVID-19 must make us now understand that all of the rights and privileges that we have, that we are supposed to enjoy as human beings, what has been legislated in Constitution or otherwise, what the Bible says or doesn't say, all of that still will be there. But we have to safeguard ourselves from the virus COVID-19.
But Mr. Paula, do you think it's a situation where persons don't understand, or they just feel entitled to do what they want to do?
I have the belief that in and between all of what we're seeing and all of what is being done, there are a few people who genuinely don't understand.
Right.
A few. Mm-hmm. But I believe the mass of the people who are defiant, who continue to populate social media with all kind of comments, are people who are just either mischievous or have tweaked and turned this whole issue of COVID-19 into a political football.
Right.
Because many of them feel that if we can have more serious cases in Grenada,
right, if
the health system, knowing about its weaknesses, can be challenged to the point where it breaks, where they would have to give up, that we would be incapable of treating and dealing with the severity of the problems that can come as a result of a mass outbreak of COVID-19, it will put them, those who see it as a political issue, in a better place, in a brighter light, because now they can criticize fully and say, here's an example of how the government was incapable of safeguarding you. And what the government is doing, being aware themselves that our health system is much weaker, what I want to hear. It's weaker, but also doesn't possess the kind of a strength and venom and have the equipments and human resource as well as financial resource like some of the first world countries, like a Germany or like a United States, like a Canada,
whose
like a
healthcare
India.
system still
Whose
couldn't-
healthcare, that's the point I was going to make, whose healthcare system failed and buckled under the weight of COVID-19. This government in Grenada is fully aware that if we have a full-scale outbreak of COVID-19 in Grenada, definitely, without a doubt, the health system here is going to buckle as well.
Now, mind
and so,
you,
before you're coming there, miss, and so the government is doing as best as they can to prevent us from getting to that stage. Because you know what? It doesn't matter politically how some people feel, and what they say. What matters is that the human beings, the Grenadian people, will suffer as a result.
Absolutely.
There will be mass death. There will be a lot of hospitalization, as we're seeing in some countries. In India and in Trinidad and others, people having to lie on the floor. People incapable of getting sufficient oxygen supply and all of that. We know our limits in Grenada. And so the more we can protect ourselves from getting to the stage where we'd have to test the system. As some people were saying, and we were discussing the last time, the immune system is strong enough. What will make you know your immune system is strong enough is to put it to the test.
It's to put it to the test.
Contra COVID-19, and then you would know. But who wants to take that chance? Who wants to put themselves in harm's way? Fire will burn you. We know that. We hear that. We read that. We see that from what it has done to other people. Do I have to go and walk into a flame of fire to know that fire will burn me? I don't think I have to. So we are seeing what we know, that a bullet from a gun can kill you. Do I have to let someone point a gun at me and shoot for me to test whether or not a bullet can kill me? I don't think so. So why do we want to test our faith, test our immune system, test the health system by being careless, being careless, by not obeying, by thinking that, I'm young and robust and strong and my immune system could fight it? Anyway, God is a Grenadian man. He won't do that to Grenada. Yes? And when it happens, then we have to complain about the system not working for us. And this is not happening. We have an opportunity to avert all of those things, to prevent them from happening. So as a people, my plea is for us to take seriously what is happening. We are seeing what's happening in other places. We see what a gunshot can do. We see what fire will do. We see what raging water will do when you have floods. We know all of that. Why do we want to experience it? It's like some people say, well, I've never seen a hurricane, so I don't mind one coming. But those who have experienced it before say they wish they will never have to see one again. So please, I plead and I beg, we don't have to let it happen to us to know what it can do. We are already seeing. In fact, we are experiencing it from what it's doing to other people.
Absolutely. I want to quickly, Mr. Bowler, play a video, a short video. It's a couple seconds long. This came allegedly from a nurse in Trinidad and Tobago. And I wanted to play this because it will give some insight into what our nurses, and mind you, I have some very dear friends who are doctors and nurses, and I would not, under any circumstances, want them to be in this situation. And she is speaking from a personal standpoint, and I love sharing these personal stories because it gives us here, we have not experienced it, and I pray God that we never have to experience it, but it gives us some insight into what the people close to us or people around us are experiencing and will possibly experience if this does become us. If we are not careful enough to say to and honest enough with ourselves and put our pride and our what's the word I'm looking for? our objectives behind and say, listen, this is for the betterment of not just the country. You ain't even have to go as far as to say the country, but this is for the betterment of my friends, the people closest to me, because I'm sure everybody in Grenada has somebody in the healthcare system. Whether it's a pumpkin vine cousin or
no pumpkin vine cousin. Cousin is cousin.
A pumpkin vine cousin, or whether it's a mother or brother or sister or just a dear friend, or just a tanty hailing up on the road that passing and saying hi. We all know somebody that is in the healthcare system, and we do not ever want to be in a situation where we are hearing 20 people in Grenada died, and we are wondering, Lord boy, she is so young, how she dead? You understand? We don't ever want to be in that situation.
She closed her and she stopped breathing.
She stopped breathing.
Yeah,
so I want to play this
so
that people can understand what the healthcare personnel in Trinidad currently dealing is currently dealing with. So let me just put this on pause so that I can share this with you.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. I know many of y'all don't believe in the COVID, however, right? But I'm gonna tell you something. Nursing staff, doctors, everybody, the healthcare workers, we are overwhelmed. We are tired. We are frustrated because dealing with patients in a hazmat suit for hours, 6 hours plus, you can't pee, you can't drink water because you're afraid to pee. You can't get a break, you can't eat because there's so much patience. It's such an overwhelming thing. We're tired. I slept all day yesterday and I am still tired. It's been a tiring past couple of weeks, and we need you all to just adhere to the guidelines and wear your mask, sanitize. Still people outside here having masks on below their nose and whatnot. Oh, go all you please. I'm begging. I'm tired. My colleagues are tired. And we're just asking, please stay home, please.
Now, Mr. Bola, this is a very powerful message. It's a sad message, but it is very powerful. This is coming from someone who has to deal with the same people who refuse to follow the protocols in some instances. The same people who probably never believed in COVID. The same people who probably sat and said, you know what, I'm never going to get vaccinated. Who they feel they want to give that? The same people who say, hey, government trying to hold us down, I have my rights. These people now have to, you heard what she said, 6 hours in a hazmat suit. They can't drink water because they don't want to go and pee. They're afraid to go and pee. They can't eat because there's so many people to deal with. It's an overwhelming situation. Now, let us just close our eyes for a moment and imagine that being Grenada. And it's not a difficult thing to imagine, because if we continue along the lines that we are going, we infer it is not a difficult thing to happen. As the CMO said, I think it was last week or the week before, conditions are ripe in Grenada for an outbreak. He said that, and people are wondering, well how he could say that? Does that mean that the Ministry of Health is not doing what they're supposed to do to keep us safe? No, it means that you are not doing what you are supposed to do to keep everybody safe, because it's a collective thing. It is not just Minister Steele or Dr. Sean Charles or the people at the airport and immigration. It's not just these people. It is everybody doing exactly what it is that they need to do. Look, for instance, last week we had, or was it this week? A foreigner last week. A foreigner coming in to visit, and the taxi man. Now, I know from traveling, when you get to the airport, Mr. Bola, and I know this, I'm speaking of this from experience. When you get to the airport, there are taxis assigned for inbound travel. Persons coming in. Everyone is treated as a COVID-19 risk. There are taxis assigned. Now, mind you, the individual or the taxi that is assigned to you to take you where you have to go has to sign a paper before they leave that stand to take you to where you need to go. Now, mind you, this taxi man made a conscious decision that is what he was going to do. This is not the fault of government. This is not the fault of the COVID committee. This is not the fault of the protocols. This is an individual who felt like he was going to make that choice, and he made it. That is as simple as it is. And he is no different from a person who decides that they're going to walk through St. George's without a mask, or an individual who decides he's going to sit on a bus without a mask and talk and go along his merry way. That individual is no different. He is no different from anyone who decides to break the protocol. So why are we sitting all high and mighty judging this individual when we ourselves are not following the protocols? And I know nobody ever really looked at it in that way.
Of course, some people did. It's just that you ask yourself, why do we do certain things? Is it because people feel Grenada is small and we are so naive? Is it because they think that others have done things before and gotten away, so the authorities may not catch up? Everyone will just turn a blind eye. In fact, I heard the minister speak about that and said that it is up to tourism, I think, and the taxi association to determine, because these taxi men who now work at the airport to transport people to the quarantine sites and so have been trained. They understand the protocol. Yep. They understand the predicament that they themselves can get into and the rest of the country can suffer as a result if they do not obey the legislation or the protocols, as we call it, to the T. Maybe it's not legislated, but it's just protocols. Mm-hmm. So when you decide to go contrary to what is expected of you, you know that you're taking a risk, one, for yourself, for the community in which you're going to do this thing, and for the nation at large. Yeah. So when you say a conscious decision was made by the taxi driver, you're correct. Because these are trained people. This is not just a guy that was passing and a man hailed out, well, taxi, or, let me give you a hire, $50, $100, drop me by such and such shop or in such and such village. It was not a case like that. It wasn't. This is an individual whose time and effort was spent to train, to give an understanding of what is expected of them and how they should function when they take someone from the airport to a quarantine site. Mm-hmm. Because everyone to be trusted as well. Everyone who comes in have to be go into quarantine, right? Yeah. So when you break that and you go and endanger, this is what is referred to or should be referred to as reckless endangerment. Absolutely. You have recklessly endangered your life, one, as the taxi man, but also the lives of several other people. The shopkeeper, the people who was in that shop at the time, and whoever else that individual may have come into contact with. As we say, thankfully. And God probably has always been blessing us and shining upon us. Yeah. That when the PCR test was done, the individual in question was negative. What if that individual was positive, right? And the difference between being negative and positive with COVID is not very far. No. It's not very far. The same test will tell you. Yeah. You know? It's a PCR test tells you that you're positive or you're negative. Now, the point we're driving home, and some people may feel, well, we're bashing the taxi man. Not necessarily so. We don't. People make mistakes. But was this one a mistake or a conscious decision not to obey what is expected of you to obey? Mm-hmm. Was it a situation where, in his mind, like in the minds of many of us in this country, well, ain't nothing gonna happen, man. I ain't believe the man have anything. But you don't know. The test results did not come back yet. Yeah. Your belief and my belief is not what will keep us safe. It is the things that we do. Whether we obey or disobey the protocol will determine whether we are safe or not. Right. And that is the point we want our people to get at, to recognize that what we think doesn't matter so much in this case, in this instance. Yeah. It's like when the AIDS virus was around and very critical, you were taught that the looks of someone doesn't determine whether they are a carrier of the HIV virus or not. Yeah. And therefore you should take no chances with anyone whatsoever. Similarly with COVID. You can't look at me and say, boy, that look like a healthy man. I can take a chance. Let me go and give him a kiss. Oh, long time I ain't kiss nobody, boy, since COVID and I'm under lockdown. Look at the man that look healthy. Let me post a kiss on him according to a friend of mine. You can't. Because there is no way of knowing by just looking. So all we are asking and pleading is that let's continue to follow what the science has taught us, what the officials who understands the science have told us. And let's stop this foolishness about, oh, I don't believe him and this one lie. Well, if you know someone is lying, what is the facts? What are the truths? What is it they're not telling us? You should know because you know they're lying.
They're lying, yeah.
Yeah?
You know,
but you can't differentiate. You can't say what is different, but you're talking they're lying.
You know, I often say that. I laugh now at the fact when, before it used to get to me a lot, when you look at these live streams and so on and you see people under their ball, you know, they lie. And it used to get to me before. But now I just see it for what it is, just nonsense. You can't tell somebody that they have done something wrong if you don't know what the right thing is. You cannot tell somebody that they are not speaking the truth if you do not know what the truth is. So I don't understand how somebody could just jump up and say, and people believe them, oh, they lie. And somebody could jump up under that, yes, they lie. But lie about what? What did they lie about? And if that is a lie, then tell us what the truth is. Because for you to ascertain that it's a lie, it means that you must know what the truth is. You know, so we have to, like I said, we have to start having mature conversations, and we need to all stop behaving in emotion and stop throwing tantrums at everything, and stop feeling as though somebody is out to get us. You know, that somebody, yes, who is out to get you? Why are they out to get you? What getting you out of the way is going to benefit them? And these are the questions that you need to start asking. Somebody say, oh, well, they're trying to get rid of the population. For what?
And for who? Who is going to benefit?
Who is going to benefit?
When you give everybody vaccine and you kill them, which is what some people, the theory that some people are going around with. But what? I mean, think for a minute. Who benefits from that? What does Dr. Mitchell or Minister Steele or the CMO in the Ministry of Health or the Director of Health Services or the nurses that inoculate you? Yeah. What are they going to profit? What are they going to benefit? Who is going to pay them? What is the purpose in getting rid of the population? So there's Trinidad and India. India has 1.4 billion people. Yeah. Now they say every single vaccine that they make, they have to keep it. They need it. They're not exporting anymore. So India wants to get rid of the 1.4 billion people. Who will then inhabit India when they do it? There is some tralala about Bill Gates say the world had too much people. Over America, 370 million. 30% of that has been vaccinated already. So they want to get rid of the American public too. The Russians, you won't take that. The Russians have been. Look at China, where COVID started, which we have learned, from Wuhan. They have vaccinated their people, more vaccination than any other country. And they're doing well. They're controlling it.
Somebody on the live say the aliens
will come and inhabit.
Yes.
Well, maybe. But maybe you have to explain that how they're coming to me. And how you know that? Where you got that information from? You have a direct telephone line to them?
But I agree with the individual in that.
No, I'm not disagreeing.
No, if everyone on earth has to be eliminated, it means that the people who are inoculating you have already inoculated themselves, mind you.
Yes.
So they're killing themselves, they're killing you had to be for the aliens.
There was a story. It happened in Guyana many, many years ago with that preacher. What was his name? Jim Jones? I think it's Jim Jones.
Yeah, Jim Jones.
That after a while poisoned all of his followers. And so, is that what is going to be happening in the world? I mean, let's just think and be sensible for a while.
And I don't understand. And you see, that just goes to show. Sometimes when we hear things, we don't process it. Because if I hear something, mind you, I want to sound smart all the time, Even if I might not be that intelligent, at least I want to sound it. So when I hear something, I must internalize what I've heard, I must process it, and I must see if what I am going to repeat to somebody else makes sense. It's about time, Mr. Bola, that some of us start laughing in the faces of people who talk in stupidness, and then maybe they would stop. You know, instead of trying to, because you know, sometimes you're trying to correct somebody and they're so sure that the stupidness they're saying is correct. They arguing hell hard with you that what I am saying is true because I hear it from John, and John hear it from Mary, and Mary hear it from Sue, and Sue hear it from Mr. Bullet. They would continue to argue with you so maybe sometimes. So when I hear people saying, "Oh, they put a chip in the vaccine for us," my first response should be to laugh. Laugh till tears roll down my face. Get a good laugh till all my belly hurting. And then after I've laughed, maybe then I would consider explaining again why that makes absolutely no sense. Because you would have to tell me that individual, that means we have about 100 chip inside of me, Mr. Bola. Because if one vial contains 10 doses, how are you sure who will get what dose? How are you sure that whatever needle go down inside the bottle will pull up the correct amount of chips?
The needle will pull up one chip at a time.
Oh, so it's a special needle too?
Yes,
Well,
the needle is programmed
well, look at that.
to pull up one chip at a time. Because from every vial you get 10 shots. So every one of them come up with a chip. I mean, let's be sensible as a people. Let's stop allowing this foolishness to happen.
It is
I mean, sometimes it aches me, but I didn't know it's laughter that does make your belly hot, Miss Duncan.
Yes.
Thank you for exposing that.
Laughter and gastroenteritis.
Okay. I get that. But you know, on a more serious note, I think we should open up the lines pretty soon because there may be people who wants to contribute,
Yes,
and of course, you can call us at 440-7377, or if you're calling from abroad, you're in the diaspora, it's 347-329-3101. 347-329-3101. Did I say that you does?
Yeah. You said like me, but you're coming close. You're getting there. You're getting there.
I did put my feet between my
Your
tongue.
feet between your thumbs.
No, my tongue between my teeth, Miss Duncan.
Well, you not say your feet between your tongue.
Come on. So you just like them people, you're following me with foolishness?
Yes.
Look at that. Watch how the phone lines are lighting up.
Oh, look at that. And we also have you can call us on WhatsApp. You can call us on WhatsApp at 440-7377. You can send a message there, or you can send it on the live stream as you have been doing. We have a caller on the line. Good morning, Miss Jacob.
Look at trouble again, no man. Then I'm Miss Jacob.
Teresa, good morning to you.
Good morning to Mrs. Duncan.
How are you, darling?
Millet talking to you all day right now.
Miss Millet. Miss Millet, Teresa.
No, Teresa.
Teresa Millet.
Duncan Millet. No, what? What was that first name?
You confused me there.
Yeah, I confused you.
Miss Jacob, don't let Mr. Bola confuse you.
No, Teresa Jacob Millet.
Right.
She got married over the weekend.
Oh, you got
Yes, you know what?
Congratulations.
Oh, yes, it's Miss Teresa Bola.
Okay. Mr. Bola didn't tell me. Congrats, man. Miss Jacob, how are you? How are you?
I'm fine. I could bring you and Brother Bola in my arms to come right up Wester Hall instead of taking a bus.
Yes.
And I'm 73 years of age.
I was just about to ask you.
Heading for me 74 in July.
In November?
July. Yeah, July. Well, congratulations and happy birthday in advance, because I know you will make it. I know that. I'm not asking.
Asking the Lord to make it.
No, I know you
You'll
pray
make
every
it,
day.
man.
You will.
I tell Daddy already, please, I go and talk to my people, my brothers and sisters this morning. And he told me to tell you all, take the vaccine because you don't know what's coming behind the door.
Wow, that's a good message.
You know something? Trinidad, they in the second wave.
Yes.
The second wave worse than the first one, you know?
Yes.
The first wave just had 26 deaths.
Yeah, it was a walk in the park.
Eh?
It was a walk in the park.
Yes, was a walk in the park for the first
Yeah.
wave. Well, what is this at the second can't wave now. Oh my God.
Well, what they saw throughout the duration of the first wave in death toll is what they're seeing daily now.
No, yes.
the
In
second
one
wave.
day they're losing that amount,
You
yeah.
see, they don't take in what that thing. My bishop, I tell me, Bishop, I'm praying for him because he's a Trinidadian.
Yeah. Bishop Harvey. Clyde Harvey.
But I love that bishop too much.
Yeah. You know that this is Bishop, the one who died. Not the
Charles?
Bishop
Charles
Sidney.
Is a Trinidadian too,
He is a Trinidadian too. That's what I was going to tell you. Sidney Charles.
eh?
Yes, Sidney Charles was a Trinidadian as well.
Kit Mitchell?
No. I said Bishop Sidney Charles
Yes.
was a Trinidadian as well.
He was a Trinidadian.
Yeah. Kit Rowley that is a Trinidadian, not Kit Mitchell.
And I know Bishop Harvey when he had 12 years.
Yeah, you did. Wow.
That time his father was ordaining
Okay.
Bishop Charles.
Okay.
And that man cried. They had to come down and take him out from the crowd and bring him up there, priest hold him.
Mm.
And when the child fall asleep, the priest bring him down to the mother had to bail out.
Okay.
Because if he wake again,
He's cry again.
bad.
Mm.
That time I was walking in the cathedral.
Okay.
So I tell him, why you tell me, no, oh God, you should have keep me, you shouldn't send me. I say keep you. I only walking in the day now, and who was see how
Ms. Jacob, I want to ask you, 73 years old, you are fully vaccinated. You can be considered fully vaccinated now.
Yes.
How do you feel?
I feel good.
You feel good. And how do you
Powerful.
feel about the decision that you've made to get vaccinated?
What? The amount of people that tell me, oh God, Mr. Jacob, why you gonna take that far? That's not for you. That's not for you. I say that's not for me. You don't telling me what to do. If I raise my right foot, you don't telling me don't raise my left foot because I go raise it. It's only who to tell me don't raise my left foot is my Heavenly Father.
Right. And you felt like you've made the right decision.
And I make the right decision. That's why I tell you all. When I follow politicians, I follow them from the top.
Right.
It's the same thing they used to do with Gary. He had things that he go wrong. No, I'm not taking it. They dead. Right. He didn't have no debt in that injection and that thing.
Right.
He didn't have no debt.
Right. Because you said you took a vaccine when you were 14 years old.
14 years old.
14 years old. You remember?
I took a next injection again when I was 19 years old.
You remember what those were for?
Well, the 14 years old was a kind of disease that he go through. And for the 19 years one, when I had 19 years, because I was on respiration, all over my body had instrument, suffering there for 21 days. So the doctor said they go give me an injection. They did give me an injection to pull me back up. And I stayed there for 21 days.
Right.
Papa, you when me mad, me aunt said no. My grandmother said no. And I had a wonderful aunt that loved me so much. That was the fourth aunt, Auntie Elika. She said anytime she lie down and sleep, she see in me and she sighed. Sometimes she does get up and bawl. Think I come out from the hospital and come up and she sighed.
Right.
So they make arrangement with the doctor, the farmer meeting. But in those days, you can't do that behind the chaplain at the hospital. The chaplain at the hospital was a Catholic priest.
Right.
Couldn't do that. The one that had the loop on his back, I think he was Father Water. I can't remember his name. Oh. Papa, the doctor say, the priest say, Doc, the priest say, Doc, if you take out this thing and this young lady, you da go kill her. And it's true, if they only take the doctors and them that would have killed me.
Right.
From 19 years ago.
Yeah, and you survive until now, so.
73 years.
So
And then again, 2018. you could see my cholesterol gone up to 600. God, when I reach at the gate again, say, Peter, say, what? Girl, I don't see your number, you know, you have to go back down. They give me 2 injections in my backside.
And that's
they give
help
me 2
you.
injections in my bum, so I know about injection.
Okay.
Injection is very good.
You're right, once you get the correct one. Yes, no
Yeah.
problem.
Yes.
Yes.
So you
Injection is very, 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 very good.
so we can safely say that you made a personal decision to get vaccinated based on
Nobody
experiences
could
in your
tell me to
life.
take it, you mad?
Okay.
Not even though the honorable, my prime minister couldn't tell me to take it.
So we want you now, Ms. Jacob, at 73, strong, vibrant, and looking forward to your 74th birthday, to tell the Grenadian people that they should get vaccinated because it's good for them. Just let them hear it from you in your own words.
Yes, I'm telling them, please, 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 you all take the vaccine. The vaccine is very good. It's good. You won't ever to think what's coming, but it's inside you. Anything coming, it's inside you already.
He go help you.
You won't feel that
Yes.
Yeah.
thing with it.
Yes.
There are some people, they have fever. They had this, they had that. I don't have nothing as that.
Yeah.
Just in the name of the Lord, put yourself in the Almighty God and Almighty Mary, our mother.
Yeah.
So wonderful and nice, Grenadians. Please, 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 please.
Well, we thank you for that,
Take
Ms. Jacob.
vaccine.
We thank you for that, and we want to give some other people a chance because we've been talking about all of the old talk that going wrong and why it's necessary to take the vaccine. So we're happy that you have called us. Yes?
Yes, so you all have a wonderful day. God bless you all, and I will be up Sunday. By tomorrow, by now, so I will be coming back because I'm going for my medication.
All right. God bless you.
You all have a wonderful and a blessed day, you and Sister Duncan.
Take care now.
Right.
Right.
Okay,
Bye
bye-bye.
bye. Right.
Guys, remember the lines are open. The number to call is 440-7377 if you're calling locally. If you are in the diaspora and you want to give us a call, it's 347-329-3101. You can also call us on WhatsApp or send us a message at 440-7377 or continue to send us a message on the live stream. Let me see if I can go through some of the messages here. Someone is saying, it's not worth the chance, y'all. It ain't. The after effects are endless. And that is something that is a fact and has been proven. We have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Someone is saying...
All right, caller, could you lower the volume of the radio in the background?
Hello, morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good, and how are you?
Hola.
Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Fluffy here, man.
Yeah. Well, congratulations, yeah?
Yeah, thanks.
You didn't tell me before, but I hear about it after. Anyway, that we business.
Yeah, it's better to hear after than you hear before.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
always learn anything what I'm doing.
Yes.
Do it and tell somebody after. Because if you tell them first, maybe you mightn't get you.
Okay. Well, I hear that. I will take note
So
of
I
that.
do it the old time way.
Yes.
So what going on, man?
We there,
Well, I get vaccinated.
Yes.
Lovely.
Wonderful.
And I'm encouraging all the busmen to do the same.
Very well.
And they is doing it because the day I was going and get vaccinated, I tell them I go in, I go and I come back and I bring the card for them. And when they see that really and truly I vaccinated, a couple of them leave and go.
Okay.
That's
And they
And they
right
get
by the
vaccinated.
stadium there, so they could get a little
So
just
they
easy.
realize now, well, Fluffy, and what happened now, the same day I drive was the whole day. I didn't have no fever, I didn't have nothing. The only problem I had, the arm was a little tight, but
Yeah, a little
just
so.
like a day,
Mm-hmm.
and then it slackened up itself. So everything is fine, and everything is good. No fever, no belly ache, nothing.
Nothing.
Okay.
So I encouraging all the rest. Every day I'm talking to them. I tell them if I have to give them I bring about 5 last week.
Mm-hmm.
I take the bus and I drive them. I say, I bring all the free. Don't worry about that. That is on me
Mm-hmm.
to go and get vaccinated. So I encouraging all of them to
Very
get
good.
vaccinated.
Very good, Fluffy. You're
Yes,
doing
good.
something for yourself and for your country and for the
That's
people
right,
of the
because
country.
The reason why I'm doing that because all of we is here,
Mm-hmm.
and I want everybody to be safe.
Definitely so.
Because if I vaccinated and them not vaccinated,
Yeah.
I mightn't be totally safe.
Not at all. You won't. You
So
won't.
if all are we vaccinated, all are we safe as busmen. So I'm encouraging them every day. I'm talking to them. I don't giving up. Some might tell me this. I'm giving them the reason why you should get vaccinated. And I'm putting the point to them.
All right.
But you're doing a
Some of
good
them is
job.
going. He's taking the time and he's going.
Yep.
Look at this morning. Tony went
Okay.
and he get vaccinated. So
Good.
That's good. That's very
we're
good.
doing our part. What we got to do.
That's
And the
good.
vaccinated, some people saying it's bad. Some people say, look at. I used to suffer with a little gout.
Yes.
You know what is gout?
Yeah.
You drink too much of red wine and eat too much
Yeah.
of it. And since I'm vaccinated, you know that gout never attack me.
You don't attack you
Well,
again.
that's good.
He never
Yeah.
attacked me again. So that
Yeah.
means he build me immune system more.
You help build your immune system, but you have to know too, you have to ease a little bit. The wine is good, but not too much.
Yeah.
All wine, not only the one in the bottle. All wine.
Well, all right.
It's good, but you can't overdo it.
You guys doing a good job.
We try.
I'm always listening and I'll keep it up.
We're trying. Thank you for that too,
Fluffy,
Fluffy.
Have a nice day.
Fluffy, before you go, someone told me to tell you, I'm sure he's
John,
listening, but
yeah.
someone on the live told me to tell him that they love his shoes and his wife looked beautiful.
Oh gosh, are you too fast in my
Well,
business?
it was all over social media.
Congratulations to you again, Fluffy, and thank you for doing a good job. And that's the way
Yes.
we need to do it.
Yeah.
You know, reach out to our colleagues, reach out to our friends, reach out to our family members.
Yeah.
Encourage them. Sometimes that's all some people need is a little encouragement. They may have heard something that caused them to get cold feet, as we say. You know, caused them not wanting to come forward. But when a family member or a close friend can tell them, look, I did it and I'm okay, and it is okay for you to do it, most times it makes it easier for them.
Yeah, and you know, you can encourage the people in your little circle.
In your circle.
I have a very small circle of friends and family members, and everyone in my circle, Mr. Bola, I can boast and say has been vaccinated, and that means a lot to me.
And then you need to go outside your circle now.
Well, I just try.
Just try.
I just try.
One at a time.
I just try. We have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Mr. Buller.
Hi, morning, sir.
Morning, morning. How are everything?
We are okay. We are blessed, thank God.
I want to say something concerning to do with the vaccine. Okay. And what I recognize that people who anti-vaccine, they listen the news. They hear a man on TV from a foreign country where he would come out and see something about the vaccine. He that person may be also anti-vaccine. I know what the people did. They hear that and they just spread it on WhatsApp, Facebook. They spread it. Well, I can say a question. If the people in Grenada are sick, who will they go to? Will they go to the same doctor who is giving information, telling them that the vaccine is good to take, and it's the most safest thing you could use to protect yourself? Would you see the person that giving that information to be anti-vaccine? You don't know if it's a doctor, you don't know if they're a criminal, you don't know who are these persons, but you believe in what they say. You believe in them. No, they say no. So that the way you see a man dress in jacket and tie, a man dress in just ordinary clothes. If you feel like because man is properly attired, you will believe the person. The man that dress just ordinary clothes, you will believe him. But what I'm saying, you know somebody, you know the person is a doctor, you know the person qualified, right? And this person care about you and they love you, and they want to see that you are protected from the vaccine, giving the information to protect you, protect your family, protect your community. What you say in the line, as Ms. Duncan, Ms. Duncan was saying this morning, and this is so true, Ms. Duncan. You know, sometimes you tell somebody something, the person has no evidence to prove what you say is that you're lying. What the gentleman said, you're lying. Ask them a question. Okay, if you say you're lying, give me the evidence to put a line. You can't give no evidence, just jump up because you don't hear the person. They come now like they don't look at the message. Because they hate me, they hate Mr. Bola. So they come like the message don't become a lie. Right? But because you're so concerned about the person, so concerned about them, that's why you're feeding them with the facts, feeding them with truth to save their life. But the person who don't care about them, who don't love them, and want to see them perish, feed them with lies, and they believe them. What I say as parents, as Grenadians, we cannot have it both ways. If we say we are home too long and we need to socialize, the only way that could happen is to go out and get vaccinated. Go out and get vaccinated. Because if when you come back to some way that where it was before March, the vaccine is the only way. Vaccine is the only way. Because I would say you go out there, you don't know who is who. Because vaccine don't show and say, well, that man vaccine, like it's just an AIDS. The only thing, that the person don't have a mark on the pharmacy, yes, the person has AIDS. That, whatever sickness you have, you don't mark on the forehead and say, yes, this person is an AIDS person, that person is carrier. You don't know. So going out there, the best thing to do to protect yourself, protect your loved one, and I'll say if you love yourself and you love people, you always want to protect them and feed them with information that is good and what is right and what is true. To Ms. Duncan, Mr. Bola, you all have a wonderful day. And please don't forget the 4th of June is the breakfast by Jalan Shop. All right? And it's a very special breakfast, which is very tasty. You don't matter by much, but the quality you get in is worth more than the money.
Top of the line. Thank you. You have a blessed day yourself. Thank you for your contribution.
Mr. Paul, I do have here quickly some, and I want to share this with the general public as well, because it's something that we need to talk about. It's something we need to continue talking about, so persons would understand. You know, I think that there are a lot of people that believe that when you catch COVID, it's like, you know, you catch a flu, you lose your taste, you lose your sense of smell, and so on, and then you get better. And that's the end of it. There are a lot of people who believe that. But for some who have caught COVID, for most actually, who have caught COVID, it's not just that easy. You know, there are so many long-term side effects of getting COVID. Long-term. And we're talking about after it's been assumed that your body has defeated the virus or whatever it is. You get these after effects. Some people have complained of symptoms such as lung injury because of the pneumonia, continued chest pain and shortness of breath, cardiovascular symptoms, fast heartbeat and so on, fatigue, increased fatigue, you know, and then there are symptoms that affect the brain, memory loss, inability to focus, signs of weakness, seizures, anxiety, depression. These are all long-term side effects. And if you go on the CDC website as well, it gives you a good idea of some of the multi-organ effects that you can have from COVID. And when we speak about multi-organ, we speak about the different organs in the body, the lungs, the heart, the skin, the brain, all right? These are things that are affected, and this is post-COVID. You know, some people have developed something called MIS, which is multiple inflammatory syndrome. It's an autoimmune condition, you know, where the autoimmune system attacks healthy cells in the body, very similar to things like lupus and all of these things, these autoimmune conditions that affect the body. These are things that are brought on by COVID. And then we don't even want to talk about people who have PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder, who suffer from the trauma of having COVID-19, the trauma of what COVID, the experience. I mean, people are not looking at the long-term effects of COVID. They're just thinking about, oh, well, I get COVID, get a little sick, and then...
Well, Ms. Duncan, some people are not looking because some people don't know. How many times do we hear the news reporters go in depth into the real effects of COVID? How many times did we hear the doctors? And having said that, I must commend Dr. Terry Marichaud. I remember sometime last week in speaking vaccination and COVID and so on. Was it
on Monday night?
Yeah, no, sometime last week when we were here.
Oh, okay.
I did make mention that one of the troubling things for me is that I don't hear much of the private doctors speaking out. You know, they're not talking about COVID. Local private doctors, they work and they attend to people and what is their view, you know?
Right.
It is time that the public hear something from them.
Right.
And I was very pleasantly pleased that on Monday night, beyond the headline, Dr. Terry Marichaud was one of the guests, and he spoke quite eloquently and, of course, forcefully about the need to be vaccinated and so. But he also touched something that we hear from people as a means of excuse sometimes. Oh, well, you know, I'm waiting. I'd like to have the Cuban one instead of the AstraZeneca. I'd like to have what they call those in the US, like
The Pfizer and the
the
Moderna.
Pfizer and Moderna instead of that. And there he was on Monday night saying, look, you may have greater trust and belief, but all of the vaccines are good. The way they were created, the issue, he even touched on the issue of, and even yesterday someone was saying, oh, but how the vaccine was made so quickly, on the issue that these are vaccines that has been in laboratory for years, because the COVID virus is not a new virus. This is a new strain, the COVID-19, but it's not a new virus. COVID virus has been around for ages.
It's very similar to those of SARS
And all the others. So they have been working, and so a lot of background work was done and research and so on. So once they got to understand how this one operated, they were able to make the vaccine.
Right.
But interestingly, he said, look, Cuba in and of itself has, and we have not talked about Cuba a lot, but there is what is happening in Cuba now. There's community spread. There's still many people in Cuba that are COVID-19 positive, and Cuba unfortunately is not getting any vaccination from any other country.
Right.
They are not importing, or they cannot import, or I don't know what the case is. So they are hopefully reliant on what they make. Cuba has about 14 million people. Yeah. When they eventually get to the stage where they can make sufficiently, they first have to check
vaccinate
on
their own.
And especially
that Asia made.
that India,
made.
You know, and I was going to say, especially with what has happened with India, I don't know if they want to take the chance to export immediately and not check on their people. So we have to be very careful. Good morning, caller. We do have a caller. Yeah, morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Very well.
We're good.
And pastors supposed to be honest people?
Well, all of us should be honest, but we look forward to the pastors and so.
Listen to a program this morning. I had a pastor calling for the employer to pay people for 9 days worth of work, you know. So I never asked the question, because the pastor knows that these people work for 9 days. I don't know why he calling for that. That is why I can embrace Christianity, you know, because the people who give us Christianity, the same people who give us slavery, colonialism, World War I, World War II.
Yes.
This thing, the people who beat back people practice Christianity, you know, beat back people. People must look up the history, you know. Because I don't surprise when I hear some people respond in that kind of way, and when they talk mention about Jim Jones, I don't surprise that, because I know where this thing started up. This started up in an evil form. So boy, you take care and have a nice day.
Thank you. You have a good one yourself.
We have a comment on the live video that reads, my summarized thought is this: it is a human nature to reject what we don't know, which just happens to be anything new. The detriment with this is when we reject what can be good or necessary. I see this in every aspect of life. Another point is the difference between Western and Eastern cultures. The West is very individualistic, where the decision to take the vaccine surrounds only the rewards or risk it poses to the person, while in the East, the approach tends to be for the greater good. An additional point about how did this vaccine develop so quickly? Necessity is the mother of invention. Nothing makes us develop a solution faster than the need for one. Very well put.
Very well put. Well thoughtful and put. I could not have done it better, and so we say thank you for that comment from that individual.
Someone on the live video also said, I went to my doctor and he gave me the go-ahead to get my vaccine, which is what I would hope for all persons with concerns. If you are genuinely concerned, and I say genuinely concerned because some people are just regurgitating concerns. It's not their original concern. They don't have an original concern, but they are just regurgitating what others are saying. But I would hope that persons with original concerns, genuine concerns, would speak to their healthcare professionals on why they should or should not take the vaccine and get proper points as to why it shouldn't be done, and not just utilize fear or the fear of others as their own reasoning. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Hello, caller, good morning. I don't know what happened there, but hopefully the caller would try again to get their point across. You know, it's very important, and I love this point here. Necessity is the mother of all inventions.
Well, we have heard that from time memorial.
Yes.
And of course, they tell you that you become much more innovative. Your adrenaline flows faster when your back is against the wall. When danger stares you right in the face.
Yes. Yeah. It's like if a dog chasing you down and you're wondering, well, what I go do? That's the first time you know you could climb a coconut tree. Hello, good morning.
Good morning. I like the dog and the coconut. I like the dog and the coconut tree one. Listen, this is the caller from Brooklyn.
Yes.
Brooklyn, New York, of course. Mm-hmm. I have. This is a kind of a different question I have. Mm-hmm. And when I remember as a child. Growing up in Grenada, I grew up with a lot of older folks, my great aunt, my grandfather, my great grandmother, and things like that. And I remember things that they used to do, which I find myself doing now, and I cannot explain to my children and grandchildren. For example, this thing with knock on wood, they knock wood, the old people. And then you have, I remember one particular one, leaving for school, and they might notice that a button is hanging or a button is missing. Mm-hmm. And they're going to sew it on the shirt while you're wearing it. Mm-hmm. But then you got to expect a joke with the needle or two little joke with the needle. I don't know. Mr. Bowler, I'm 73. I'll be 74 in July.
Wow.
Just like Miss Joseph.
Jacob.
Jacob, yes. And I don't. You might have an idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I don't know. Miss Duncan, he looks too young.
I have an idea.
Miss Duncan looks a little too young to remember those things.
Definitely too young.
And she didn't grow up with grandparents like we did.
And like for example, when you're passing, you used to hang out by the rum shop sometimes, and you see these guys every time they open a bottle, they always throw a little bit in the corner.
Yes.
Right.
And that was supposed to be, as far as I understand, it was supposed to be for the ancestors or something.
And the spirits, they said yes. They want to make sure that the spirits are happy. You give them a little something. They do it in the prayers. They do it when they're digging a grave and all kind of thing. They does.
Another thing I do, sometimes you got bread that's kind of stale and old, and my kids ask me, why do you wet it before you throw it away? I don't know. That's what I saw the old people doing.
That one I can't tell you why you have to wet it. I don't know. I really don't.
I don't know either. And these things, because the kids and the grandkids ask me all these questions because they look at me.
Yes.
I remember as a young boy, things they would say, the older folks, and we say, these damn people could talk. Blankety blank, you know. But today, I find myself being my grandfather, my grandmother, my great-grandmother.
But you are you are a grandfather now, so you have to be like our grandfathers are supposed to be. We have lost, however, a lot of the traditional things. There are a few things that some people remember and they still practice it. But the vast majority of what our forefathers or our foreparents did, we have lost it along the way, though.
That's sad. That's really sad because, you know, anyway, next thing is the trip that we all planning. Everybody is vaccinated. As a matter of fact, the last person had their vaccination Monday.
Yes.
And that's the only one that has had some side effects. Mm. She experienced 102 degrees fever up until yesterday. And slight headache, and chills. But this morning, everything was fine.
Good.
And that's the only person in the group that experienced those kind of side effects. It's not bad because to me it sounds like the thing is working in the body. That's what it sounds to me. The immune system is kind of fighting something that's strange. But what I'm doing now, I'm trying to get everybody to get insurance because I don't hear people talking about travel insurance. It is very important. It is very important because, for example, the one that I'm working on now, if, for example, you get sick on the trip and you end up in a hospital, they cover up to $50,000 worth of hospital
fees and things like that.
A lot of little things, and I think that is so important because who knows when you're going to get sick, and you might end up in a hospital, and then you don't have money to pay because you're not covered. The hospital now gets money from the insurance company so they could give you the best treatment. I mean, they should give everybody the best treatment, but they're going to be sure that money is going to be coming.
Well, they will be incentivized to know that money is coming so they would even do better.
So that's what I'm working on now, trying to get everybody to get that kind of a insurance to, you know.
So totally covered and safe.
Now, is it possible that you could find somebody to talk about these old habits that seem to have died out or are dying out? Because we listen all the time, and there are others, I'm sure, up here who would like to get an explanation.
There's one gentleman that
we didn't ask questions.
There's one gentleman that we know, Mr. Brave Boy out of Broadgrove, that has a lot of history, local history. We will attempt, to see if we can get in touch with him. He used to be calling us regular. I don't know what he's up to these days. I have not seen him in a while. But we can attempt, and if he is very versed in that area, we can make an arrangement and bring him on one of these days to talk about that. Because I think it's important that the younger generation get to know the meaning of a lot of things that was done before.
Listen, that would be great.
We'll make an attempt. We'll make an attempt.
I appreciate that. We will all appreciate that.
Thank you.
And once again, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, good morning and have a nice day.
You have a blessed one, and give all of your friends in the circle our regards.
They're listening.
Okay. Well, good morning to all of you. Grenada shouting you out.
They appreciate that.
All right,
all right.
Thank you very Take good care now. Take good care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. I know recently or during the course of last week, we mentioned to the general public that the last day for getting vaccinated would have been the 17th.
The 17th, last Monday. That has changed.
That has changed so far. And I understand the reason why as well. But you can still get vaccinated.
That is for first shots, right?
For the first shot, yes. You can still get vaccinated as long as supplies are available. Go out there and get vaccinated. We have a caller on the line. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, caller. How are you?
Hi, good morning, caller. How are you?
I am good. Good morning, Mr. Bola.
Good morning to you, sir.
You all right?
I'm good. I'm feeling really good for now.
Okay, good. Now, my concern with the resistance to the vaccine, I am of the opinion that maybe enough education wasn't done, because we have become a people that it is said that change is the most constant thing, but we are most resilient to change, most hesitant to change, and change is the most constant thing. I think people have to be educated, because we still have a high rate of people who are educated but not very literate. There's a difference.
Yes, there is.
Right? Because we have to come to terms with the fact that the world has changed, and it is going to continue to change. Things that you and I did as youngsters, Mr. Bola, and Miss Duncan, who is not so up in our age group.
Stop making Miss Duncan feel so young, no, man.
But I am. Very young.
Miss Duncan, I sit and boss here.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay. Well, go ahead. I'll go hear about you and that. Don't worry. Go ahead.
People have to come to terms with it that this is going to be the new norm.
Yeah.
We have COVID-19 now, And it's not going to be the last pandemic or the outbreak of something that is going to come. So people have to, and I think the relevant authorities have to take a generalized educational approach, not just on COVID, but educating and enlightening the psyche of people that there are things that we don't normally do or things that we did not normally do that we will have to start doing. Because there will be more things to come. COVID is not the last.
In fact, caller, some researchers and scientists already believe that we won't be able to get rid of this present virus because it keeps mutating itself so much. They believe that for many, many, many years to come, we will still be dealing with it in different forms.
Well, Mr. Bola, I am of the firm opinion that, okay, presently they are proposing 2 vaccines.
Yes.
Two shots. 2 shots. But I am convinced that with the mutations that are taking place, every year we will have to get vaccinated.
Quite possible.
I am of the firm opinion. And there are other things that will creep up. I remember when gonorrhea and syphilis and so forth was the thing of the day. There are some folks that every Monday morning after they went online on a weekend, every Monday morning they had to go and get it.
Azugu. They had to go get Azugu.
Because they did irreputable things.
Yes. Yes.
The new norm is going to be, and that is a firm belief of mine.
Yes.
That there are more to come, and people, the populations over the world have to be brought to the level where they have to understand that, hey, we will be in a position where we will have to do things that we're not accustomed to doing, and that would be our new norm.
Yes.
So the hesitancy of people, it's normal. We are object to change. We don't like change. You bring a new bed in my house and I want to sleep on the old mattress.
That's so true, yes.
Yeah, so I think the educational approach has to be looked at. People have to be educated, and not just about COVID, but holistically.
Yes.
The world is in an evolutionary state. It's evolving every day. Things are even, I mean, look at this. Whoever thought in a lifetime that Grenada, and I like to use the words of my grandmother because I grew up with her, Jukutu Grenada would have had what we call e-learning, where children learn from home.
Yes.
Whoever thought of that? So people have to start looking at the multiplier effects of what we think is a negative in that of COVID. It has brought out, listen, COVID has brought out creativity in so many people, things that people never thought they could have done for a living. They're surviving by it now. So it's not just about the vaccine.
Yes.
The vaccine is one aspect of it. We have to be prepared for the things that will come. The Bible says that the last days going to be trying.
Yep.
You know? So I think you all are doing an excellent job, but I would love to see more educators coming, and not just about the COVID, but preparing our people for the changes that will come.
That will continue.
Mr. Bola and Ms. Duncan, have
quite well done, but before you run away, stay 30 seconds again. Did your grandmother used to live in Pearls? And does your name begin with G? Just say yes or no, and then I'll know who I'm talking to.
Could I plead the fifth?
Don't plead the fifth. Just give me an answer.
Mr. Bola, yes.
All right, good.
That's the guy.
Right, that's the guy. I thought so, but I wasn't absolutely sure. You have a blessed and wonderful day.
This morning I was having a conversation on the way to St. George's.
Yes.
And someone was saying to me, people recognize you by your voice.
Yes.
I said, really?
True.
And I had to allude to the fact that there were so many times that I would be on the street talking, and somebody would come back and say, you are so-and-so. I say, yeah, how do you know that? Your voice.
Your
Lord
voice,
have
man.
mercy.
No, you can't get away. You can't get away. But thank you for your contribution. It made a lot of sense, and we'll work on that.
Before I run up, Mr. Bola, I could be convicted by a voice recognition.
Probably so. You have to be careful with that. Careful where you sing, because I know you are a singer too. So careful where you sing, brother.
You will like what comment this year.
I hear you. Be good, man. And good to hear you. Take care. Nice.
Okay. There's one last point on the live video, and I think we're going to end on that point. It has so much information out there, and still people are saying educate. We have to educate ourselves too. We are living in a world of technology.
Yeah, but not everyone is capable of utilizing the technology and learning from it. So I agree with the person that technology is available and, but it has to take a learning curve, a learning process. Not everyone can do it. And the more we can simplify things for those who are not so technologically advanced, the better it will be. So they're making a good point, but there are some who will fall off the loop.
Absolutely. We could take this last call, but yes. The caller has 30 seconds because we running out of time. Good morning.
Hello, morning.
Hi, morning.
How are you all doing? Mr. Bola.
Hi, morning, sir.
Morning, sir. Like I said, to see it. But relative to that the taking of the vaccine, I don't think anybody is sure what a long-term effect it would have. Even though there are statements being made to that it is not 100% effective all for now. But I have no problem in going along with people saying that the best you could do all for now. But there are a lot of skepticism, including coming from top scientists, top doctors. But that aspect of the chip, to my mind, I think I'm a very logically reasonable person. It's the most dumb conspiracy theory they could come up with.
It is.
Because, even if it is only one person that could take that
the dose.
Vial.
Yeah, the vial, yes.
You're monitoring everybody through what? But like you point out into one, people taking it. Much chip that is coming up, all the chips have to be the same.
Yes.
Then if all the chips are the same, chips are designed to monitor individuals. My phone chip is not the same like yours.
Exactly.
And if 10 people have the same chip, you don't know who you're dealing with.
Yes.
Think about some logical for a second. So, there are a lot of conspiracy theories related to this thing that makes no sense.
Yes.
But I could understand the skepticism for the long term. You don't know what effect it will have, on you 3 or 4 years from now. And that's what a lot of them are using strategically nowadays.
Okay.
So one has to be careful. And I think it's a free will issue at the same time.
Well, we do agree.
In the process of taking vaccines and so on, technically there's a chance you're always taking it.
Yeah.
All the time.
Everything you do in life is a chance.
And you don't take it, except you have the kind of solution that I know to be one. It's still a chance you're taking if you don't take it.
Yeah.
Your chances of getting the virus and that of having long-term effects from the virus itself.
Yeah.
Is another aspect of it that you have to consider. When people want to reason along that line, I think they have a better chance of understanding how to go about dealing with this issue. But that conspiracy theory, or you individually making the decision.
Using all the information you have and think about which is best for you to do.
Yeah, for you to make a decision.
Yes.
Even though I get next to Miss Jacob sometime, she don't know that.
Miss Jacob is a sweetheart.
What she's saying, how she's saying it, that it is my individual decision to make. I don't care if the Prime Minister who she thinks is your best friend or whatever, or anybody else trying to tell her don't take it.
Yeah.
That's how you're supposed to go about this thing.
Yes.
Yeah. But you're
your
supposed
determination, your stubbornness, your own understanding.
Based on reasoning and logic and facts. That's the part you can't miss, because yes, it is your decision to make. It is your right. But it must be a decision made based on reasoning, logic, and facts.
Yeah.
That is most important.
And being convinced in your individual conscience and mind.
Right.
And with our understanding.
Right. Yes. But caller, we are out of time this morning. So thank you so much for calling and sharing with us.
Be good, thank you.
Right, so you have brought us close to the program. We thank you. Please join us again when you can. Tomorrow, God's willing, I don't think we'll be on because there's supposed to be a sitting of the lower house tomorrow, which will be carrying live. So let me use this opportunity to thank everyone, whether you have sent us a message on the live, or you've given a phone call, or you just listened at home and you are now thinking, from what I've heard, I have to make a decision one way or the other. We are grateful for that. Yes, they have changed the date. which was the 17th, which was given by the ministry as the final date for those who wanted to take the first shot. Always remember it's for the first shot, not across the board, because they were checking the stock and date of expiry and so on. And all those kind of things. And they have done that and recognized that they can continue. So they are continuing. So if you are going for your first shot, you are welcome to do so until the ministry tells us something different. So we want to encourage everyone. Please use the facts, be logical, reason out what is happening, which is better. Take it, even if there may be some side effects, so don't take it and have long-term implications, health implications. It is for you to decide. Do your research, ask your questions, speak to your medical professional. But at the end of the day, remember, making a decision to take your vaccine is an important one, not just for you, but also for your family, for your country, for your survival, and for the economy. Have a blessed day, all of you. Take good care.
All right, guys, we've come to the end of our program for today. As we say here every day, in whatever you say and whatever you do, be safe, be secure, be responsible. It's always a pleasure being here with you. So please enjoy the remainder of your day and stay tuned for the National Report. It has been a pleasure, guys.
Head of government's negotiating team believes solution could be in sight in discussions with GUT over 4% salary increase. We will have the details to this story and more in the National Report. Welcome back. With the details to the news for Wednesday, May 19th, 2021, I am Sherry Noel. Head of the Government Negotiating Team, GNT, Honorable Oliver Joseph, says he believes a solution could be found soon regarding discussions between the Government Negotiating Team and the Grenada Union of Teachers. Amicable discussions were held on Tuesday as the Minister for Labour, Honorable Peter David, continued mediation in the ongoing dispute over the 4% salary increase due to teachers and public officers for 2021. The Minister, in his capacity as mediator, held joint talks with representatives of the government's negotiating team and the Grenada Union of Teachers. This came about after separate meetings with each party over the last 2 weeks. Minister Joseph says new proposals have been put forward by both parties for consideration.
I must say that the talks were very cordial, that the GOT, in fact, did put a new proposal on the table, as well as the GNT. And both proposals are workable, and I think we are very close to finding a solution. I need to go back to Cabinet on Monday with the GOT proposal to get Cabinet sign off, because I'm there representing the government, meaning that I must go back to Cabinet. The Minister of Labour has promised that after Cabinet has decided and inform the GOT, he will reconvene. Both parties will come back before him before the end of next week so that we can work out a solution. So for the first time, since we started these negotiations and this dispute arise in all the talks before the Labour Commissioner and now the Minister, for the first time I see a glimmer of hope. I think a settlement is very near, and I'm very hopeful that we will be able to reach a settlement in this matter very soon.
Moving along, government has delivered on its promise to provide safe and affordable housing for people in Carriacou. 100 China Aid low-income housing units were handed over on the Sister Isle on Tuesday. The handover at Dumfries is the third of 5 sites to be completed under the second phase of the Chinese housing project. which once complete will provide 647 housing units to Grenadian families. Units at the Villa in St. Patrick and Diamond in St. Mark have already been handed over. Prime Minister Dr. The Right Honourable Keith Mitchell pointed out that the ripple effect of owning a home is greater stability and security for families and a positive impact on the socio-economic development of the country. He reminded the people of Carriacou that this journey started under the late parliamentarian Elvin Nimrod. He said although Mr. Nimrod has passed on, his dream for Carriacou has been realized.
If Brother Nimrod was here today, I know that he too would have been immensely pleased that this project has materialized. He was there when the project was just an idea, and he bargained hard to get more than what was originally intended to be built. So please say a silent prayer of thanks that he was able to champion your cause and secure more units for you, his beloved constituents. Urge beneficiaries to take good care of the facilities, both your personal space and common areas. Let this be a gift that keeps on giving so that the future generations of your families can benefit from those facilities.
Parliamentary Representative for Carriacou and Petit Martinique Affairs, Honourable Kendra Maturin Stewart, said residents are grateful for this gift that represents hope and stability.
This project is a gift from the People's Republic of China, whom we've had close ties and relations with since the year 2004. Therefore, this project would not have been a reality without this generous donation by the people of China. Ambassador, we are immensely grateful for same. And let me assure you that the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique will greatly benefit from this. Their lives will be touched. And so, on behalf of the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, I express profound gratitude to you and your country for this precious gift to the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique.
This is the National Report. The news will continue after the break.
Are you gonna wear your mask today? You see everywhere you go. There are rules you got to follow, so don't you say COVID-19 will delay. Take the opportunity to save your community. Don't be that guy, put a mask on your face if you're heading outside. It's your life, my life, more lives will be taken if we don't try. If you feel any symptoms, call the hotline. Stay inside until you feel fine. 6 feet away every day. Keep COVID-19 far from away. Keep Grenada safe. Be COVID-19 smart.
Welcome back. The handover of 100 housing units in Carriacou is a proud moment for the government of Grenada. During the official ceremony on Tuesday, Minister for Housing Honorable Delma Thomas said government is happy that it has been able to fulfill yet another promise that can change the lives of thousands of families. She encouraged residents who will soon occupy the facility to be ambassadors and maintain a clean and healthy environment.
In the entire history of Grenada, no other government, and I want to stress no other government, has done more to address the housing situation in the country. In the last few years alone, we have provided over 2,000 houses to families, and I'm talking about through the housing program of people who lost houses through fire and other instances within the country. The Chinese low-income houses, at this completion ceremony, marks 1,000 houses across not only Carriacou, but also Grenada. Indeed, the provision of housing has been a central policy planned by this Kit Mitchell administration, and of which I continue to be more than a proud member. The people who will eventually receive one of these units must cherish it and take care of it. We must never let it deteriorate into a wild jungle of unkept surroundings, graffiti on walls and junk and trash all over. We must maintain the environment to ensure that this is a place worthy of living, worthy of being called home, worthy of raising children, and worthy of uplifting the families of Carriacou and Petite Martinique.
Chinese Ambassador His Excellency Wei Hongshang is optimistic that the relations between the People's Republic of China and Grenada will continue to grow as both countries work to improve the lives of Grenadians.
So 100 housing units may not be big in quantity. It is our sincere goodwill, and we hope this project could render some help for the improvement of livelihood of people in need in Carriacou and Petite Martinique.
Moving along, Director of the Pan-American Health Organization, Dr. Carissa Etienne, calls for countries in the region to consider manufacturing vaccines to curb the effects of low or no vaccine supplies during the COVID-19 pandemic. On Wednesday, during PAHO's weekly press conference, Dr. Etienne said there is an urgent need for more vaccines to be made accessible to the region, as many countries record a decrease in the number of COVID infection cases within the last month. This decrease, she said, is offering reprieve to the health systems in the region and is testament to the power of the various vaccine programs. Dr. Etienne says 90% of vaccines have been sourced outside of the region, and having to complete or having no access to vaccines cannot be allowed to continue as new infections are being identified daily.
We urgently need more vaccines for Latin America and the Caribbean, a region that has been put to the test severely by this pandemic. The glaring gaps in access to COVID vaccines throughout Latin America and the Caribbean are a symptom of our region's overdependence on imports for essential medical supplies. Less than 4% of medical products in use during the COVID response have come from the region. That means more than 90% have been sourced out of the region. And thanks to export bans, supply chain delays, and lack of purchasing power, our region has struggled to compete for access to personal protective equipment, to oxygen supplies, medicines, and vaccines.
She says there is a need to expand the capacity of the region to promote self-sufficiency in manufacturing vaccines and other medical supplies for health security.
Luckily, we have some of the building blocks to make it happen. Strong academic and research institutions, existing manufacturing capacity, robust regulatory systems, and an effective mechanism of procurement. Meeting our region's needs will require expanding production capacity well beyond what's already planned. We must ramp up production for the entire vaccine value chain, from the ingredients that go into vaccines to the vials and syringes that help us deliver them, without compromising quality.
And finally, in the news, Marketing and Communications Officer at the National Training Agency, Mrs. K. Julian Gutu, during an appearance on the GIS Spice Morning program on Tuesday, made a clarion call for participants to sign up for the Assessment Prior Learning Program, APL, now ongoing. The program, Mrs. Julian Gutu says, does not require training, but aims to recruit 60 skilled individuals who already have skills in a particular field for over 2 years.
Trying to recruit persons, a number of those 60 persons in several areas that we've highlighted, like food preparation and cookery, bartending, general construction, plumbing. I think there are a couple other areas, geriatric care and a few others. We are certifying persons for Caribbean vocational qualifications, which is a regional certification, and also the national vocational qualification. And it has to be at a certain standard. It's a CARICOM qualification. It has to be at a certain standards because it's what is used for persons to access the CSME certificate to go work in the region.
The program aims to be completed at the end of this year, but participants still have the ability to work at their own pace. Part of the criteria involves a self-assessment where they would go through the process of evaluation to determine strengths and weaknesses. The program also requires individuals to create a portfolio highlighting work that they have done, to include photos and videos, certificates and testimonies where applicable. The National Training Agency encourages all skilled individuals to capitalize on this certification opportunity, with the deadline for applications set for Friday, May 28. Now for a recap of the top story. Head of government negotiating team believes solution could be in sight in discussions with duty over 4% salary increase. And with this, we come to the end of the national report for Wednesday, May 19th, 2021. On behalf of the entire news and production team, I'm Sharian Noel, thanking you for viewing.